Hey guys, how's it going? This is David Sebastian, coordinator of Mentoring Arts Programming with Wayside. We are here together again to do some more artwork. We're still working on our Cheetos RC truck. It's been going pretty good. This is where we were at last time. We have a few details to put in. For example, we need to put in a large Crunchy logo here, Crunchy Cheetos. Crunchy is kind of the word that made me want to do the job because, off-road vehicles are crunchy. You know what I mean? So in any case, that's going to be the next thing that we're going to do. So like we often do, we will create and cut the stencil, line it up, spray it with the airbrush, and try to get all of our layers up with the airbrush. And that is the deal for today. That's what we're hoping to do. What I figured I would do really quick is we'll build the stencil and everything about it, and then we'll send it to the cutter. And while the cutter is running, we could talk a little bit about my programs and about the rest of the rest of the stuff that I like to share with you guys when we're together. So right now, I'm going to turn around and switch cameras. It's going to take me about a minute. And then I will be right back with you guys. All right, so hold on just 1 second. Hey, what's up guys? So here we are on the other side of my studio. This is where I have my iMac, working with the 27-inch iMac. Definitely my favorite machine of the moment. Does a great job in whatever I have needed it to do, and it's some real estate. So in any case, we're going to get right into working on this Crunchy logo right here. Going to go pretty quick, because there's only a little bit of information here. Looks to me like we're looking at, let's see, like a 4 or 5 piece stencil. No big thing. Going to be pretty easy. So this one's I apologize. Today I'm having a little bit of trouble moving. So that's what's up with me. All right, so we're going to get right into it. If you guys remember, the first thing we did last time is create a new layer. I like to talk about keyboard shortcuts every time we're together. A new layer would be Command-Shift-N, and you want to call that whatever you want. I'm going to call that outline, because that's what we're going to do first. The outline here will be the full surface, so this whole shape. So to get that whole shape, we need to use our image selection tool, which is V on the keyboard. It looks a lot like a screen cap device. It's a cross with a square on it. And what it's asking is to marquee select, what you want it to grab. You have to be on the layer that the information is on. Right, very important. All right, here we go. Let's try that again. Actually, you know what? We're going to hold on 1 second, and we're going to switch to the actual marquee tool. Go in here and get rid of some of this additional stuff which we don't need. All right, switch to the lasso tool is L. Shift L will walk you through. Whoops, not Shift L. Command L. Actually, no, it is Shift L, right? Yep, Shift L will give us the polygonal lasso tool, which is really what we need, right? Just had it on a little too specific there. All right, we delete that, deselect. Just kind of do the same thing over here. The only real reason I'm doing this is for ease of selection. You know what I mean? Like, this will let us just select what we want. All right, so Command D is deselect. So now we're going to go back to our image selection tool and marquee select our whole deal. And it's going to give us this shape here. So now we're going to switch to another W tool, which is the magic wand tool. And we're going to use Option, and that'll give us the subtraction magic wand. And you click that guy, and he'll start to deselect things that we don't want. Because all we want really is the very edge of this word, kind of like almost where we are now. Right? I use this tool called the Navigator. It's in Window, Navigator. And Navigator gives you a really easy way to move around. I like that. One of the great things about the marching ants is the opportunity to really see what you're doing. Know what I mean? So then Command Shift I will select everything else, and we delete it. Now deselect. Oh, we got this guy right here. Just delete him. Delete. All right. Now, real quick, just for the sake of it, let's jump over here. Actually, I need this to be here. But let's jump over here and take a look at our Cheetos images. And you want to go in here to Tools and set Size as Large. I believe I did this already. But I still want to go in here and just take a look. This junk from Big Lots. This is all we need. So then for me, I do Command Shift 4. This is of course on the Mac. And that is Screen Cap. And you can go kind of right here at our crunchy. Go back over here and say Open. And we can find the crunchy we just put there. Whoops. Whoops. All right. Seems like the quality of the two was pretty much exactly the same. So. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is, like I said, we want to select everything here. And really the best way to do that is to create a base layer, Command Shift N. We call it base color, right? And so now we got this one called base color. Drag him down to the bottom where he's behind everything. Our magic wand tool, our paint bucket tool is G. If you have it in the wrong one, you hit Shift G. That gives you paint bucket. Take a look up in the over here. This is the color we're using right now. If you hit X, it switches from front to back. We want white, and then we just go on our base color layer and click. And so now we got our whole background figured out. Go back to W, the magic wand tool, which selects by color. We need to be on our Cheetos layer, and then we want to select, whoops, we want to select by color. So now that'll select everything except our text, right? So now Command Shift I, that selects just our text. Now we can get in close and take a look and make sure that nothing is screwed up on the edges, like right here. So very quickly we deselect, grab something like that, anything over here, whoops, delete. Just want to try to make it as clean as you can. You know what I mean? All right. Sometimes you have to go with the lasso tool. All right. Hit delete again. Deselect. Look around. I myself am fairly colorblind, so finding this is difficult. Doesn't have to be crazy, but that helped. You know what I mean? Like, so you see inside here, we can move all of our information around. We can move our image around. That's definitely one of the things that I really like about this tool, the Navigator. Doing this, Command D is deselect. You'll use it a lot in this operation right here. Alright, that looks pretty good. Oh, there's this guy. Alright. Make sure there's nothing really obvious, because otherwise I think we're pretty much fine. So like I said, now we go back to our base color. I mean, yeah, well this is we're seeing our base color through right here. I think real quick, just to make everything even, we're going to go in here to edit and click stroke. What stroke does is outline things, what I always used to think of as cell shading, which is anytime you outline stuff. It's one of my favorite pet peeves about comic art, is that it always has a heavy black outline. These days not so much, but man, back in the day it sure did. So I'm going with about a width of 5, and then you hit, you decide if you want to center it. I want outside, normal, 100% opacity, and then we just click yeah. So then you see we get this additional outline. Unfortunately, that looks like crap. So we're going to undo it. I'd rather have this sort of jaggedy one than one that just totally looks like crap. All right, so now using the magic wand, we select our background, Command-Shift-I, which is our foreground, and we grab our paint bucket tool. We go up to our outline. So now we have this shape selected, but we're on a blank layer. Click this, now we get a black one, deselect, outline layer. All right, then we turn that guy off and we go back in here. We go back to our magic wand tool, W. I'm going to kind of cook along a little bit, because if anybody has watched this with me, you've watched me do it a few times. This is how I build stuff to do airbrush, so it's always going to be like this. I hope it's not boring, but I am sharing what I do. You know what I mean? So you select this guy. And we're selecting all the reds. This is our first pass. Because if you're looking, you can see there's some reds that absolutely did not get caught. And that would be here, and here, and there. So now if we look, we have pretty much a real lot of our reds selected. All right? And this looks okay. You know what I mean? Now, I guess I said 4. I think there'll actually be 5 stencils, because we're going to have to do this drop shadow. All right? Just, take a look and see if there's anything that you think that we could still use, Oh, this back part doesn't want to get selected. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, that looks pretty good. So now we're going to do basically the same thing. Command-Shift-N. I'm going to call that one red, and you can put tags on it. I pretty rarely do, but since it's a specific color, we might as well. You know what I mean? Say enter. This will give it that little red tag. Then we go back to our paint bucket tool, which is currently set at black, and we just select it, cook everybody, and there we go. Right? Then we turn that guy off, and we go back to this layer and deselect. So the next thing we're going to do is the yellow. So we go back to our magic wand tool, select it. You see it's basically selected all of the yellow. Command-Shift-N. We'll call this one yellow. And we'll give it the yellow tag because it's funny. And then we take our paint bucket tool and we black it out. Sometimes you could grow your selection a little, and it kind of Oh, we don't really want to do that because that will include our drop shadow. See what that looks like. So now we're doing yellow. We've got our yellow in there. All right, so we go back here, deselect. Now what do we got left? We did yellow, red, the full outline, and now it looks like we need white. Right, and then we're gonna have to do our drop shadows. So white, shift, white, 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 white. All right, that looks pretty good. Just want to, you want to take a look and make sure you don't lose anything, because sometimes there's some subtle differences in color, and they're really obvious when it comes time to make the stencil, especially things like points, because points help, they look cool and they help, and they're really specifically something that gets missed in selecting. So, all right, Command Shift N, another new one, and this one is white. I like to skip letters sometimes. Why don't we give this one a weird color because we don't have it. All right, and then we take our paint bucket tool. And there you go. Deselect. Turn this guy off. So now we're looking like we got white, yellow, red, and our outline. Is there anything left? Yeah, there's the drop shadow that we talked about. There we go. All right, so W. All right, this one will be the most challenging to line up, I'm sure. Alright, sometimes if you go in here and say selection grow, you get something good. But in that particular case, actually it doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty good, actually. Let's do undo. I think that's going to be just fine. Alright, so now Command Shift N. And this one is, we'll call it shadow. Right. Shadow doesn't have a color, right? No, we'll give it gray. And then we want our paint bucket tool. That's everybody. And we turn that guy off. And then we turn this guy off. And we turn these back on and see what we get as we build our stencil. Whoops. It really doesn't work because we're using just black. But we can see right there we have a piece missing. So that is part of our red, I believe. Okay, let's go back in here. We'll turn all these guys off, even the drop shadow. And we'll go back here. And it looks like the back of the H is missing. All right. So we want to go W. Oops. And then go back to our red. Oh, let's try that. G. Whoops. Undo. All right. Paint bucket tool. That guy, turn him off. All right, so now we deselect. Now let's just take a look at everybody together again. Sorry, funny shadow, drop shadow gone, highlighting gone, the wrap gone, outline's fine, and this one looks good. Looks really good. Awesome. Let me turn this guy off. yeah, looks really good. Does look like we missed. Why is this piece still like that? Undo. Yeah, click on that, man. I kind of want that to be part of the red, right? Yes. All right, just one more second. Check that out again. That's the back, right? Oh no, there it is. W. Deselect. Let's get up in here a little closer. Over here. Option, switch to our lasso tool, option, get rid of this stuff. Alright, let's go over here with selection, grow a little bit, nope, too much, deselect. Let's go back in here with our magic wand tool. Let's try something a little different. Maybe we should go ahead and build this one. Right, so I'm thinking of making our yellow, our red a little bigger of a stencil, and then we can hit it with these other colors as we go. Funny. Cancel. What we want to do. Deselect. Gotta have to try this. Reselect again. Try a different tool. Quick selection tool. That was not the right thing to do. Pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now we need to just deselect a little. everything. I just want the letters. And we can get real close and take a look at this gap here. Brush is way too big. Alright, that looks really good. There we go. We got a nice clean selection. And all we got to do is go back with our magic wand tool and option. Actually, hold on one second. Let's go back to the lasso tool, which we're using the polygonal. Do shift. I want to go from here to here. There. Oh, I don't think I can do it that way. Shift. From this point to this one, and then to this one, to that one. Can't remember where my other end is. Alright, so we gotta shift W, option, there we go. Alright, this looks pretty good. Right, looks really good. All right, we're going to create a new red layer. We'll call it red 2. And we're going to paint bucket it up. Whoops, forgot to do one thing. W back here, and we want to say Alt. Alright, we just really don't need to spray these things twice. So we feel like I feel like I might as well get rid of the selections if I can. It doesn't suck too bad. Alright. Go back up here and say delete. Turn this off. And there's our selection. G. Black, yellow, white, and our drop shadow. Awesome. Alright, which guy is missing that little tiny piece of black? Looks like we are red 2. Select. Guys off again. we didn't get that piece right there. All right, well, close enough. I can work with that. All right, so now that we're all set with that, we have to save each one out as an individual piece. Oops. There we go. Deselect. So now we do the first one, save as. We're going to save in our machine, in our Cheetos file, and we're going to call this Red 2. We'll call it Cheeto Crunchy. Crunchy Red 2. And for this, we're going to go ahead and make it a JPEG. And then we're going to kill that layer and jump into our next one. I think we're going to, well, let's see, you know, one is much fatter than the other. You know, like that's a tight, small concept. This one is hitting over the head with a bat. All right, well, we'll turn this one off and we'll go in here and we'll say save as. We'll just Command Shift S. Go in here. Wish it would simply open in Cheetos every time. And we're going to call it Crunchy Yellow. Whoops. And we wanted that to be a JPEG again. You hit JPEG and enter twice. And then you take a move over here, turn off our yellow, turn on our white. Interesting, right? And then we say Command Shift S. We're going to save to our machine. We're going to go in Cheetos. We're going to call it Crunchy White. Whoops. Woodjite. I'm going to have it be a JPEG. And then we go to our final layer. Pop that guy. And it's our drop shadow. Command Shift S. Save on your layer. Save on my machine. All right. Now we jump down here into our friend Silhouette Studio. This guy might take a sec to load. The Silhouette is connected to our cutter. Our cutter is called a Silhouette Cameo. Wicked cool thing. Alright, I think we're good. Outline 2, close that up. So these are some of the next ones we're going to do on the other side. So right now, this is Silhouette Studio. It's the cutter program. And the first thing you want to do in here is set up your area for the cutter. So what we're going to do is we're laying our material, which I'm using overhead projector. Excuse me. I'm using overhead projector film, and it's great stuff. It's really, really thin. It is, let's see if I can see it. Looks like about 216 millimeters. No, that can't be right. That's the metric size. Well, either way, pretty thin. Overhead projector film. Pretty cool. So what we do in here is we set up the size of our artwork. The paper, of our cutting material, what I have in there is 8.5 by 11. So I've set it up already. And you can see that this is actually 8.5 by 11. One of the things that's really, really cool is that we are looking at an exact representation of the mat that we've put into the cutter. It's going to be a fine, it's going to be, it works out really well. I have our transparency set up a little bit here so that, so that we can kind of figure out where we are as far as shapes and sizes go, which brings us to our next task, which is measuring the truck. So I'm going to jump over here on this other screen for a sec. Give me a sec. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. All right, you guys, how you doing? This is me over the top of my truck. How are you? Can you see me? Good. All right, so we're gonna put our I'm thinking maybe crunchy all the way down the windows. But first, we're gonna see how wide we have right here above our wheel well, and coming across just before the Cheeto looks like about six wide, with the slight bend in it. So if we start at the bend is about a 1/2 inch, and then we lay it down, looks like roughly 3. So 3.5 by 6. 3.5 by 6. Why don't we call it 3.5 by 5? 3.5 by 5.5. All right. So easy enough. So the next thing we want to do, let me switch the cameras around again. Sorry about that. All right, we're back here. So the next thing that we have to do is place our stuff that we're going to have send to the cutter, and then send it to the cutter. The cutter's going to take a couple of minutes to do the job, and we can talk about programming. Excuse me. All right, so first thing is Command O, which is open. Might as well start with red. In fact, I wonder if we can grab all of them. Oh yeah, gave us all of them. So right now we don't need this guy, so you can hit that little key, which folds them up. So all of these shapes obviously have to be exactly the same size because we're going to overlap them. So we can drag this and try to nail the size that we need, but we know it's 3.5 by 5.5. So if you go up on this line right here, click this lock, because that'll keep it the size of what we're working with. We needed 3.5 by 5.5. So go ahead and over here, there's 14.33. Width, we needed 5.5. And we see what we get. Not bad. 5.5 by 266. And 2665 will totally fit in our height there, which is 3.5. You know, we could cheat this 5.5. We said we had 6. So what if we made it 7.5? Hey, what did I do there? 5.75. Hit enter. Goes up a little. So now we're just about at the height that we were working with. So now what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to turn this guy. I think over here we can go Object, Rotate, turn this guy back. Oh, let's do this. Z. All right. Then we go over here and we say Object, Rotate, and for this one we want to rotate 90 degrees. Hey, let's undo that and let's go 90 degrees. Counterclockwise. 90 degrees counterclockwise. All right. So we're going to take this guy and we're going to put him right here. That's going to be our first stencil. Okay? All right. And we know it's the right size. 5.75 is our width. So now we're going to grab our next one. Right? And say select, Command C is copy, go back over to our white. In fact, I think we'll change the name of this. Not a rename tab. Object. Jeez. Interesting. Either way, we will stay in silhouette and just kind of go from there. So we just say select all, Command C is copy, over here and say Command V is paste. Same deal that we just did. We're going to go in here and call it 5.75. And there it is, roughly the same size. Object, rotate. There you go. And so what we're doing here is we're kind of stacking the stencils so that we can cut each one and hopefully be able to cut them all basically at once. Now we're in here to the yellow, select it, copy, head back to our white, paste, and the same deal. Alright, so we got those guys. So now we take a look. What do we got left? Close that guy. Don't save. Chopper. We actually don't need that one either. Don't save. Nothing there. I don't think we need this one. Alright, don't save. Alright, so there we go. We got yellow. Looks like yellow. Dark red, highlights white. Alright. Copy. Object, rotate, 90 degrees counterclockwise. Same deal up here, 5.75. Alright, so now we have everybody. Unfortunately, I don't think everybody's going to fit. You can't get too close to the edge because then you won't have enough room. You know what I mean? Hey, why do I keep screwing this up? It's pretty funny. Except that it makes me look like an idiot. Alright, there we go. So what I was thinking is if we could fit this guy in here. Alright. Okay. There's a tool here, which is a square tool, like a drawing tool. This will allow us to cut these individual stencils out and just have pieces. Instead of having one big piece with all these stencils on it. So we want this square tool, and we want to start right as pretty much as close to the artwork as we can. Alright. Always do that. I always like click outside because that's a Photoshop thing, you know. Let's try that one again so we don't overlap with the other stencil. Oh. Alright, back to our square tool. Which is desperate to do silly things. Alright. Just want to make sure our outlines are clean and we're not getting too close to each other. Oh. Could probably make some of these boxes just a little bigger. Like this one, this one. This one looks pretty good. This one looks pretty good. Oh. Alright. Looks pretty good. So the next thing you want to click is, hold really quickly, let me take a look here. Worried about our lettering dropping out. This one is what we want. Yeah. All right, so we go to send. Oh, not yet. Back to design. We have to go over here into panels, into trace. You select your trace area. You go basically over here. For this one, we're tracing everybody. And that is pretty much what we want the cutter to cut. One of the problems I think we're going to run into is that this whole piece of artwork is going to drop out. This one's fine, this one's fine, this will be pieces, which is fine, but it's this one, this one's going to be a problem. So we want to go out of trace, close that up, and go back to design, and grab the eraser. The eraser in this program is not great. It does the job, but it's not great. So there we go, we got a couple. There we go. So then we go back to our selection tool, back to the trace panel. All right. And then we just hit trace. So now it's created a trace file. What we do is we select each of these. And we just pull them away. Pull this one, whoop, yeah. Pull this one away. Right? And then you see we have all of our pieces ready to be cut out. And we have some gaps on the other one that'll help hold it together. Hopefully, because it does look like some spots that are probably going to wind up being a little bit of trouble. Yeah. Well, we'll try to work with it. We'll just see what happens, what kind of cuts out. So the next thing you want to do is head over here to the send option. Send is going to show us exactly what the cutter is going to cut. Looks pretty good to me. I think it's going to probably be fine. I have our paper in there and ready to go. We're using stencil material. Everything else is already set. And we just hit send. And our device is going to set up. We just say yeah. There's that sound. That sound is the cutter adjusting its blade to whatever I set it. Instead of setting the blade to what you want, it actually adjusts itself and then begins the cutting job. Pretty awesome. We're going to switch this other camera really quick. Hold on. Hey, what's up, guys? So now the cutter is running, and we can talk real briefly about the programs that I run. Just one second. Got some pain today. So the program I run is called Greenhouse Graphics. It is a drawing and painting program created with a partnership created by a partnership between Wayside and the Department of Mental Health in Massachusetts. The intention of the program is to bring arts programming to the young adults in Central Mass as an alternate engagement method. I work with young adults 16 to 26 all over our state. My program is based out of Tempo Young Adult Resource Center, which is in Framingham. Wayside is a human service agency that works with young adults and their families. They do some really, really great work, and Tempo is one of their programs. I started at Tempo about 7 years ago, and the first thing we did was build a studio there. That is still my home studio. And I try to work there whenever I can. When the pandemic is not going on, I am there Wednesdays and Fridays from 10:30 to 3 running open studio programming. Open studio programming is honestly anything the young adults are interested in doing. I try to be a part of it and try to work with them in what they're doing. It's an exciting and really, really fun thing to do. The young adults are eternally renewing me and making me feel like a young guy all the time, where those days were long ago. Real quick, let me just check this thing. It's about 3 minutes left on the cutter. I'm sorry if it's very loud. That sound is the sound of it cutting the lines on the edge. It makes after using it for a while, you get some pretty specific sounds out of it. And I hope it works. You know, like the science behind the cutter is pretty straightforward. It's like a printer with a knife instead of a gun. The software connects to the device and supplies it a pattern, and it cuts that pattern. The plastic itself glues to the mat that we were looking at. That I feel like is one of the weaknesses, is that your material sticks to a pre-stuck mat. If your material slides or moves at all, your cut's completely destroyed, and it'll pretty much destroy other cuts that it's doing if you're careless. You know what I mean? So that's the only complaint I've ever had about it. I feel like everything else has been, pretty good. Pretty good. Next thing that we're gonna obviously work on is getting back into the truck. Excuse me. About 2 more minutes left on our cutter. Then we'll get in here and try to work on this guy. The next thing we're going to do with this guy is we're going to pull the tape that we used to put on that graphic. And we have to decide, are we going to paint over the windows? Which at this moment I'm feeling pretty good about. So all you got to do... Hold on just one sec, got to grab something. Had a little scrubby around, but I guess I don't know where it is at the moment. All you really need is a paper towel and some water, right? And all we're doing is taking any dust or anything that happens to be on the side of the truck off. I wiped the side of the truck down already pretty good with this stuff earlier. Pretty good. Now, of course, an important part this time is going to be about covering what we've already done as far as graphics go. I found while working, which I didn't know, which is that the tape will take artwork off the side of the truck. We don't want that. So we need to come up with basically a mask. And how we're going to do that. Hi, Maul, what's up?
You doing a live stream?
Yep. Hey, guys, check it out. Molly's here. Whoops. There you are.
Hello.
There's my girl. What are you up to down there?
Nothing.
I'm cutting my mask.
You have a Mac?
I have to put a mask down so I don't spray on this other stuff that I already painted.
Oh. It's not a mask for you, but...
Take over for a sec, Mom.
Okay.
You gotta say something. Hi, I'm Molly.
Hello. I don't know what to do. Because I never know what to do.
Wave your arms around.
Hello.
You're very close to the camera. See, it's right there.
Oh, hi.
So this is the camera. Oh, it's Momo. It's always fun when my Molly wants to stop by. Man, I got this weird cough, though.
It's too cold, Daddy.
I think there's just a frog in my throat.
What's that?
Like you're trying to get some stuff out.
My lips are
All right, hon, I got to get back to work, man. We got to mask up the truck and get ready to spray it
Bye-bye.
now that our stencils are done and everything's cooked.
No comment. Please me.
It's a pretty easy leave it there.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to keep our masking straight since it's lined paper. And
Bye-bye.
remember that. Bye, Maul. Thanks for coming, man.
You're welcome.
So all I'm doing is I'm sticking some tape here pretty loose, you know, because what I don't want to do is not be able to get it off when it's time to get it off. I think we're going to work over here, so it shouldn't be a big deal. We can always adjust our masking if we need to. All right. Looks pretty good. Oh, sorry guys. Hey. So that's what we're going to use for masking. It's coming up a little right there. We're going to have to adjust that. All right. We just have to see how much of the space is taken up by our stencil, and then we'll know how much more or less masking that we have to do. All right. I'm going to slide over here and grab the stencils. Sorry, guys. Be right with you. All right. All right, so right here is our stencils. I know you can't see them, which is one of the extreme weaknesses of using clear plastic, but at the same time, you know, sometimes it's really cool. Looks like a couple spots overlap the edge. I use this tool right here. It's a finger X-Acto. Whoops. Works out pretty good, especially if you spend a lot of your life with a cutter in your hand. This is a really great change to the way you hold it, which for me is a big improvement. All right, so it looks like we got 2 out of 3 stencils off just like that. Sometimes you run into some little spots that the cutter didn't get through enough, and you just have to trim those. Gotta be careful, because you don't want to cut yourself, which I've done with this razor. I can't even tell you how many times. Oops. Got to be real careful that none of your stencils fold. That is the doom of stencils, is folding. They must be really, really flat. Like here's another spot that didn't get cut through all the way. No, that wasn't good. I cut that at an angle. This is our white stencil. And I know you can't see it, but it's really cool that everything except this one piece came right out. So now we have our whites. Put that there. This is our second guy. Remember, we cut the squares around all the stencils to give us a little, a little bit of flexibility in where we put the stencil and how we use it. Like I said, cutter's pretty good, but sometimes there's just some spots, right? So this is our, I think this is our red 2 stencil. Piece I just put down was an interior piece. this is what I was kind of worried about in this particular stencil, is that we're losing the edges. You know, we're losing our white, what we had left for white. But we can also use that white on its own to try to heat up what we've created here. One more little spot. Okay. Another spot. All right. Anything else here? Looks good. All right, so one more. All right, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. That's that guy. So now I believe we should have one more. At least, right? Well, it looks like two more. This is definitely why why the material we cut on is plastic, because oftentimes when you pull your stencil, all the stuff you don't want sticks. So then it's gone and you don't have to worry about it. Instead of having to pull it, it is basically pulled itself. So although that seemed to me to be a design flaw, it actually seems to be a brilliant piece of design that actually helps in creating using this stuff to create our artwork. I think it's awesome. All right. So this guy is our yellow. Yeah, I think that's our yellow. So now we have our yellow, our red. Oops. Yikes. You can't drop these things because then you'll never find them. Got it. Same thing. You can't let it get messed up. That'll really screw us. All right. I've got two, so there's one more. I'll put this down because I very often cut myself with them. All right. So this one is our white, but did we use the same one twice in the cutter? Because this one looks a lot like our first one. Oh no, this is our drop shadow. Cool, this looks great. This looks really great. All right, so it looks like we got all of our stuff there. Whenever you use this cutter, you have to make sure you clean this plastic off. What I've been noticing is a razor scraper without a razor. I did grab a razor to see if I wanted to try it with a razor on, but I'm worried that I would cut the surface. Where this one just pulls stuff up that is stuck down, and I can just slide them off. You don't want other old stuff stuck here because it'll affect how good your next thing sticks. You know. Pretty good. It does take a couple of seconds, but if you don't do it, it's easy to forget when you start on the next one. And then you're like, whoa, why didn't everything stick like it's supposed to? And, well, that's because you left a whole bunch of stuff stuck already. It'll still work, it just won't work quite as well. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty good. I think we missed just this one. One of the things that I used to always do with the silhouette was screw up my cut settings and cut my first cut job into the mat. These mats are very inexpensive, but they're really awesome, you know. Okay, there we go. So the next thing we found when we did the last piece was that paint doesn't want to stick to the truck. You know, everybody tells me that paint doesn't stick to shiny surfaces, and that definitely seems to be the deal. So that's a problem, right? So we are gonna spray the truck with a clear coat base first. This seems to be working. I like it. It works pretty well. And I think it's the way to go. So it's a transparent base, and then we're going to clear coat on top of this just so that we can try to get a little bit of stuff going, kind of, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to switch cameras again. It's going to be a little bit weird for a sec, but then you'll see me over the truck, okay? Hey, guys. All right, so first thing we're going to use is this transparent base. We're using the Iwata Eclipse. I'll leave all of our stencils up there at the moment. In fact, actually, before we do that, we need to grab one, maybe the biggest one, and see how it fits. Oh yeah, that looks totally awesome. Even if we did it a little lower, it'd still look awesome. That's a good size too. I wish the sticker would come off. I wonder if it does. Grab my razor. Wonder what happens if you pull the sticker though. Is it like clear underneath or something? Let's just pull it up a little more. Doesn't matter, I just don't like having the logo behind there. Alright. You know what we forgot, you guys? Our outline. So we gotta jump back over here for a sec and do our outline. Hey. All right, we just need one more. I want to see if it's the same, if we have enough here to go the same size. Yep. Just forgot our base coat real quick. Okay, so this guy, we'll get right in here. This is some of our leftover plastic. So they want it to go the other way. Alright, there we go. I use my brayer, which is this tool right here. Roll it out. Okay. You guys see me okay? Alright, so all we're going to do with this guy is we're going to start a new one. Go back to design. This is our shadow. Maybe we'll hide this guy for a sec. And we'll say open. We want, oh, you know what? I think we didn't even save it out, man. Didn't even save it out. Or maybe we did. Oops, wrong one. Oh no, that was the chopper outline. That's right. So here is the outline that we're going to work with. I just want to get in here for a sec. A little closer. There we go. A little bit more. All right. So now we save this guy, like we said, to our machine, to the Cheetos folder. We're going to call this guy crunchy outline, and then all we need this to be is JPEG. So we just say yep, yep, and then we drop over to our Silhouette Studio and we say open. We're going to grab the outline, and same deal of what we did with the other ones, 5.75, which is just the size that we're working with. And now this particular piece of material is 1, 2, looks like about 7 by 5. It's actually not bad, you know what I mean? So we're going to go with our page setup, and this time we're going to change it to 7 by 9, and then we're going to move this guy down a little, like right there. For this particular one, I don't know if we need to build a box, because it seems like this whole box here would kind of take, include the stencil. We say, yep, click away, send. I gotta feed this into the machine, which means moving my airbrush table over for a sec. Whoop. All right. Just one sec, guys. So once you got that guy fed in there, hey, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Remember, the next thing we need to do is trace. If you don't trace, the cutter will assume that, oops, let's cut that. I know what this is. The other one is there. All right, so this time we meet our trace panel, and we hit our trace area, drag through right there, and there we get what's gonna be cut. Say okay, so then we say trace. So now it's gone. So now all we have is that. Hold on just one sec, guys. So now we're going to send this to the cutter, and it should cut along pretty quick. Alright. Important to me to be able to see myself. Sorry about this, guys. If anybody's interested, that OTEP record is really, really good. Really good. Alright, cool. So that guy just kicked out, so we'll grab it. Alright, so it did not work. It did not work. It was not centered enough. Damn it. Which means I blew my counting. Yeah. Oh, I counted the wrong direction. Oh, that was great. Alright, so this guy's no good to us. We're going to have to do that one more time, which means wasting more plastic, which kind of sucks. What do I got for a piece right here? Nothing. I moved my trash can, and then I threw stuff in the trash. Alright, sorry guys. What do you guys want to be looking at this for? Alright, so same deal, but this time we're going to go with an 8.5 by 11 sheet so that there is plenty of room to get that guy in there, bring him out, right, just to get out any air bubbles. Put away. Looks like I have one piece of this type of material left. I'm going to try to get into my I have 110 sheets of another kind. I want to try to give that a shot. I gotta hit this to go, guys, and then I will be right back. All right, you guys, I am back with you. We are good to go. Hey! See how we did this? Oh, guess what we forgot to do? Yeah. Is we took it out before it was ready. Missed the error message, or whatever you call that. The message. Alright, this should cut real quick because there's nothing going on. Says it'll be about 30 seconds, so just give me a sec. Alright, let's see how it went. That looks pretty good. Looks like it didn't cut both directions, but that's okay. It was assuming that area that was not right. Okay. All I'm going to do is just cut another line up here. Alright, let's take a look and see if it's the right size. It should be, but we'll try. So let's go ahead and jump and jump back on these other cameras. Alright guys, so we got our new stencil, which is almost invisible to you guys, I'm sure. right, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our crunchy logo, put it where we're thinking about putting it, and see if our outline comes in around it. And it looks like it does. So we're gonna start with this guy. Yikes, got too many cameras on. All right, so we're gonna bring this guy in here just like this. All right, I guess maybe if we work there, we won't have to deal with the slope of the side of the truck, you know. I am using regular painter's tape, inexpensive, you know, readily available, that kind of stuff. Don't at all have to go actually, you know what I forgot? Before we put that down, right? We got to hit this thing with our base coat, which is this guy. This is Illustration Colors, Createx, and this is their base coat. Haven't really used their base coat a lot, but I'm interested in trying it. Okay, got our base coat in there. Now we need our reducer, which is around here somewhere. Oh, there we go. So we put like 3 drops, so we put like 3 drops in again. I saw a guy online calling this OG gumbo, like the way he mixes. I think that's really, really cool. And I'm all about it. All right, for this next, eventually I'm going to be doing this to the whole truck. So it doesn't matter a ton about masking here. I'm going to go right over the windows and stuff. Let's try to let's try to go right ahead and hit it with the clear coat. Hey guys. Let's make sure she's working. Okay. So all we're doing here, I gotta be careful of my machine. Actually, why don't we put a little mask in there real quick? Guys, still see that? This I'm just hoping not to get it so much on the iPad. I've been getting a lot of stuff on there lately, and it's really dumb. Especially where we're going to put it right here. All right. That looks pretty good. And just hit some over here. All right. Cool. All right. So all I'm doing right now is clearing the airbrush out with water so that we can get that clear coat out real quick like, because the next shot's going to be white, so we want to kind of make sure all this stuff is gone. There we go. And we just spray her out a little. Slightly more water. These airbrushes, the Eclipse, and this is a custom version made by Coast Airbrush. It's Black Ops. This is the best airbrush I've ever used. There isn't even any competition. I've used a lot of Iwata products before, but I've never had one that works this well. It's amazing. Let's see, last time I think we used a little bone white, and it was a little better because it was a little less strong. Know what I mean? This is a little bit of an off-white, kind of a cream, or a bone. So we're going to use that for our outline. Okay, and then we want a little reducer, which is this guy here. Whoops. So if I put 3 drops of that, I want to put, all right, 6. I was listening to, what is the guy's name? Gorman, Steve Gorman. And he was talking about, let's see if it's on here. No, he was talking about 100% reduction. I definitely don't tend to do that. Like, you know, I'm probably do 30, you know, but I also have a big problem with spitting, you know, with my airbrush, the paint not coming out as much as spitting. And when you get spitting, you know, like, it sucks because it's gonna mess up your work surface. There's like nothing you can do, you know, which is, you know, there's a few tricks, but there's no messing around that it's gonna happen like that. All right, so we got our white ready to go. So now we need our outline. I'm gonna place it in place here. I'm gonna switch to this other, why don't we just take this out? Now this stuff, the stuff we sprayed on, dries wicked fast. Wicked fast, dude. I'm from New England. You know how it is. All right, I'm going to put that guy right there. I'm going to hold off on spraying for a few minutes just to give it a chance to dry a little. Now, do we do it crooked or do we do it around the corner? Because if we do it around the corner, it might look cooler, but it's also a little bit of a task to get it down there, where if we just clear the corner, that should do it. Except for the fact that don't really have anything back here that we can tape to. So we're gonna have to do some of my favorite tricks. I see all these videos that are tips and tricks. I have no tips and no tricks. I just try to continue working and kind of see what happens. I'm trying to open up my workspace a little better. I'm the king of clutter. We want it to be up there. All right, let's give this other camera a try. All right. So before I get started, I gotta roll up my sleeves. Nothing's worse than getting your sleeve in the way. All right. So it looks like that spot right there is gonna get a little bit on the body, but I don't think that's a big deal. Okay. So all I'm doing right now is trying to catch the edge. Oh, a little too close there. Okay. So the spot that got too hot, you know, it doesn't matter that much since obviously we're going to spray the whole thing with white. But you don't really want to wipe it like that, right? Because it looks like crap. Luckily, this is going to be under all the artwork that we do here. All right, so now we just want to try to hit through the middle. All right, and try to stay away from the edges because the edges are where the stencil makes the most sense. Okay. All right, that looks all right. Unfortunately, this sticker coming off the window kind of sucks. Maybe we can grab our razor and fix it. Okay. At least it won't be coming off. All right, so we're going to give that guy just 1 sec to dry. Just takes a couple of minutes, right? So once we get the white in, we have to kind of decide on what's next. You know, take a look at all of our stencils, right? Very important to keep your stencils in a place that you can find them because they will disappear being clear. You know, like right now, I have literally 2 of 3. All right. I think we might want to hit this with white again just to give it a little bit more off of our background. Still just a touch tacky. I want to pull off one more piece of paper. That's what I'm going to do right now. All I'm doing is spraying these so that I can see them. There you go. All right, now I can see them. That helps a little bit. A little bit. Mm-hmm. All right. Oh yeah, I was going to do one more piece of masking, just to be sure. There we go. All I'm doing is to try to protect my iPad, which is right behind this spot here. Guy's looking at my belly. All right, let's try again. A little bit more white. See how we're holding up. We're doing fine. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. One more here in the middle. Cool. All right, now unfortunately we don't get to pull that stencil because we're going to use it over and over. It's going to be our mask. So now we need our, which piece do we need next? Highlights be last. I highlighted one on, I sprayed one onto the other. As long as I can see it, I don't really care. All right, so this guy is our red. Got red, white, and also black. Right, yellow. Take a quick look at our stuff. So this guy is red, yellow, and white. To do next. Yellow is really white. It's really light. So actually, I think we'll go the other way. Yellow and then red, because yellow will cover red. All right, that is really right where we want that to be. Okay. All right, for this we're going to need a hold down stick. I have here somewhere. All right, so we're going to use this guy to hold our stuff down. All right, guys. So from white to yellow, not exactly a big deal. In fact, we have so little left, it won't even pour out. So add a little bit of water. Grab our spray out bottle. Dump out whatever's left. That's the sound you're looking for. There we go. I usually take a little piece of paper towel and just wipe it out real quick. Doesn't matter, especially with yellow. It's gonna be fine. Yellow I'm using here is a marker yellow, which is a Maltau. Don't hold your airbrush in your hand while you're shaking color. I just did it 4 times in a row. I have a number of other yellows, but this one feels like it's the best one. You know? And the Maltau products tend to spray really good without any reducer because they're much lower viscosity of regular airbrush paint. So there we go. Throw our cap on there. Yikes, we're almost running out of time, guys. All right. You guys see this okay? Is my fat head in the way? All right. I'm guessing my head probably will be in the way, and there's not a lot I can do about it. Stick. Remember, just stay 90. And even if the stencil moves, shouldn't be too bad. I think we're out of paint. No, I got a little. We just hit with a little air to help dry it up. Take a look, see if there's any really obvious spots that I missed. Okay. Okay. You know, that stencil didn't work as well as I had hoped. I mean, it's fine, you know, but I wish it had been not in pieces so much. Next time I will connect them together. So we're going to let that dry for about 2 seconds. Nothing's worse than to try to figure out how to do this. There we go. I'm back with you. All right, so all I'm doing is letting that yellow stencil dry for a sec, and then we're going to go in with our black stencil. I mean, our red. We already did that stuff. I think black I'm just going to do by hand. What is that? Oh no. One of my stencils. All right. Let's see how it worked out. Right here is why you want to put tabs on your tape. Because if you have to pull this hard, you know, and all over the place to get it off, then it's going to either deform on you or pull off paint. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. So our next stencil is red. So I want to try the next airbrush and see if I can get anything out of it. That would be a big no. Getting something out of that one. This is a Grex airbrush. Nice. It's a little one. But it works out pretty good. I did lose the back piece, which I'm going to have to order. Looks like we got some needle clog here. Okay. I find without the back on, my hand is in the way more often than not. Does seem to be some clog going on in here, though. Not going to be able to depend on that guy, you know. I've been thinking real seriously about getting another one of these Eclipse airbrushes because, man, they really, really do the job and are a completely different experience than most of the rest of the airbrushes that I've used. I've used many Iwata airbrushes, from the really junky ones, you know, the Neo, to what I think are good. Like, I actually have an Eclipse right there, and it never worked for me. But this one and the Eclipse I had are at best arbitrarily connected to each other. You know what I mean? Like, one is so much better than the other that... There we go. Like I said, just do a quick wipe so that we don't get a lot of yellow. I don't even know what yellow and red mixed together would be. Yeah, no. So over here we got a bunch of other colors, a bunch of reds. What do I want to use? Sienna, umber, carmine. Nothing like a product called Blood Red. Only thing is, I think this one is dramatically darker than the marker one, and I think the marker one is going to work out a little better. So we're going to load this guy up. Okay. Another thing you want to close all the way is all of your paint. There we go. All right, we throw our cap on. And now it's stencil building time. Or stencil lining up time. Or you know what I mean. Yeah. One sec. I'm going to switch cameras again. All right, so the next piece is our red. And this guy is probably our most important piece. And going to be the most difficult because we don't want to spray over our yellow, which luckily is masked right now, but going to have to be really careful to try not to infect them. Alright, looks pretty good. Definitely going to have to hold it down in some places. Alright. Looks pretty good, like right in that gap right there. Now, of course, there's some spots here that are not our friend. In fact, this spot right here overlaps the yellow a lot. But everybody else looks good. Okay, and we're just going to take a look at the color we're using. Looks good. You can see there. This is called Traffic Red by Malto. Hey, look at my finger, they're all yellow. Right. This H was giving me some trouble, I don't know why. Alright, we're going to let that dry for about 2 seconds. Oh. This is just air. Help the paint dry for a sec. How you guys holding up? You still with me? We're about 1:56 in, and you know, we hit this guy and then we hit it with white, and that's pretty much it. You know, so it's cooking. It's cooking right along. So this is pretty good. Start to finish, the project will be just over 2 hours. Red's probably okay now. Let's go take a look at it. Piece of tape here. Right. Touch test. Touch test. There's a couple spots that got hit pretty heavy. Okay. Now more air. Okay. Our last stencil is our highlights. Actually, don't we have one more? I thought there was one more stencil. Remember it was like outlines. Oh yeah, the drop shadow, which we needed to do just a little bit darker. Hey guys, how's it going? So listen guys, we're just running out of time here. We only got about 30 seconds left. So I wanted to say thanks you guys for being a part of the program. I hope you had a good time. I had a really great time. I'm going to try to finish this up and record it. And if that works out, I will post it on YouTube by the end of the day today. So look forward to seeing how this kind of comes out. So come on back and hang out with me when we do our next thing, which is tomorrow on Facebook, 3 to 5, Greenhouse Graphics Facebook page. We will probably, I'm not totally sure. The other side, we're going to put a large drawing of Chester Cheetah on a motorcycle. I think I have one here. Got to turn these other things off before I can turn it on to show you guys. So this is what we're going to do on the other side. We're starting with a cutout, and I think it's going to look really cool. So that's the next thing on the other side. And then we're going to do it like an old Cheeto bag on the roof. And a few other things, miscellaneous things. But I'm probably going to be working on this RC truck for a while. All right, and then we're going to go back to the jacket and finish that up. We're pretty close in the jacket. Right now we're here. Almost done with these guns here. Coming along, looking really good. And I'm loving it. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. If anybody has any thoughts or comments or questions or anything like that, please give me a yell. And I will talk to y'all